mic'd up with Mikey Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boy.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground, I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Chico can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Chico can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You're more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for
Good
the
show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Players. Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Monday, November 11th.
We're cursed.
This weekend sucked. It sucked. It was rainy. We got our ass kicked. We lost the Mic'd Up parlay.
Closer than the experts think.
Nope, was not close. Not one bit was close. You could say the score looked close for a minute. We got our ass kicked, and I don't care what anybody tell me. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. And Lloyd and Jared had a nice conversation off air about breaking down some plays that Jared was trying to learn us all. And you know, we got a lot to talk about.
Some people know ball, some people don't.
We got a lot to talk about. There is a clear
Mikey was real quiet.
There was a clear, distinct advantage in that game, and it was Jalen Milroe outperformed Garrett Nussmeier
Well, don't take his
by a
take.
mile. Huh?
Don't take his take.
I'm not. I'm giving that's a Jared take. That's a Jared take. And Jared is going to show you why that happened. We're going to talk about why that happened. I think it's evident if you watch the game. But it was miserable. It was tough to watch. It was never close. The times that we had an opportunity to get close didn't happen. Bad mistakes, interceptions, missed reads, dropped passes in the end zone.
Fake tiger.
The tiger that was sleeping, even after he got shocked, went back to sleep. Then you have an opportunity, you finally make a stop on third down, you get the ball, then you fumble.
Fourth down.
I mean, you make a stop on fourth down, you get the ball back, and then you fumble. And not good, and doesn't look good, but you still got a lot to play for. You're not going to be in the playoffs. It's over.
Well, Miami lost.
Miami with 2 losses better is going to be in there before us at 3 losses. I can promise
Who
you
else
that.
lost?
which is over. Georgia lost again.
Georgia lost.
Yeah, but Georgia's not going to lose. Oh, they have to play Tennessee, right? So Tennessee may have 2 losses. We got 3 of those things, though. So that
Only
ain't
2
good.
in conference. You can backpedal your way into the SEC championship.
So, okay, so if you're going to go that way, which I'm sure that they're talking about in the locker room right now, is, hey, listen, it looks good bad right now. We have not played good. The last 6 quarters have been horrendous. Horrendous. Before that, going into that, you looked like the middle of the 3rd quarter against A&M. You're like, oh, my God, we're going to the SEC championship game. We're going to be in the playoffs. We were rolling, playing good defense. All of a sudden, you forget how to defend a running quarterback. Then they go ahead and they beat you. And then you have 2 weeks to prepare for another running quarterback who is probably the most freakishly athletic person in all of college football. He runs for 185 yards and 4 touchdowns. He just ran for another one right before he got onto this show. And you could not.
He might have run home.
I mean, he's run, Forrest, run right back to Alabama. And you can't figure out how to stop him. But all of that being said, you have 3 games left. You have Florida. You're in the last 2 games at home against Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, right? You go 9-3. It's not everybody wanted. It's not what everybody expected. It's not the standard. It's not the standard of LSU, right? It's Brian Kelly. Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody needs to pump the brakes on that. You need to fucking deal with it. Brian Kelly's here. He ain't leaving. So you either get on board or you get off board. Bitching about it and complaining about it and telling him he needs to go, all this kind of stuff ain't going to do anybody any good. Right? You got a top 3 recruiting class coming in the country. Brian Kelly made a mistake when he got here. And that mistake was wait till year 3. Wait till year 3.
Judge me.
Right? That is maybe a little bit of overconfidence when he first got here. He made a couple of coaching mistake moves as far as staff goes. And so in my opinion, year 3 isn't this year. Year 3, depending on if Nuss is back or not, is either the year before, the 4th year or the 5th year. Because, and we've talked about this a bunch of times on the show, his first year here doesn't count as a year. Because he had to go in there and he had to get everybody out the portal. He showed up in December. He has to go in the portal. He didn't have a full recruiting class. He had a team of 37 guys. I'm not making excuses. I'm just stating the facts.
Well, that's pretty much the biggest part.
Right? Yeah.
You got 37 guys on the roster. Like, that's not.
And that's not an excuse.
Not real.
And look, he did a great job. If you don't get the number 2
Your
overall,
voice is unbelievable.
Yeah, Jared. Look, I'm usually where Jared's
I got
at.
no voice.
I'm usually where Jared's at.
Loud day.
Usually, you have. If you don't have the number 2 overall pick that you get in the portal, that first year is not good.
Well, nobody wanted him anyway.
And nobody wanted him to start anyway. Obviously, he was the right guy. You go and you make it to the SEC championship game in year 1, so everybody's thinking, oh, we're gonna go and we're gonna be in the championship in year 3. Well, hold on, because all those guys that you brought in outside of Jaden Daniels, were gone. After that, majority of those guys were gone because they're all seniors, they're all transfer guys. So then you got to do it all over again. You got to hit the lottery twice. That doesn't happen the second year. But you have a recruiting class that you brought in with not necessarily the right recruiting staff, but you bring in guys that are, now you have some bodies that are, some of them are talented, some of them are not.
Handy capable.
Right? They are there, maybe not ready, maybe not as supremely talented as they need to be. And you go to year 3, right? Which is this year.
Which is year 1.
And which is technically year 1 because now you have your first full recruiting class in. You have your new coaching staff on the defensive staff that you bring in that is now, and you look at the recruiting class that they've brought in, is potentially the number 1 recruiting class in the country when it's all said and done, right? So now you have recruits that are playing, young guys that are playing right now, plus you're developing these guys, and then you have a big recruiting class coming in next year. So now you're starting to build a program, okay? You potentially have the number 1 hopefully the number 1 quarterback in the country coming in, and a quarterback that's going to be a veteran is going to be there for year 2, hopefully, right? So now you put yourself in a situation where now you can develop a culture. So in my mind, in our mind, next year and the year before, after that is the judgment years. That's where you judge, right?
Judge me on 2026.
It doesn't take the sting away from what's going on right now because no matter what we say, no matter what the conversation is, you cannot lose that game in the way that you lost the game, right? I don't think it's, I think what affects me the most is it's not about losing it. It's how we lost it. Both the last 2 games. It's how you lost it. It's, man, we don't have an answer. We're not stopping them at all. There's no answer to any of this. and we don't have a way to come back and combat it. We don't have a way to just stay with them. Not even just defensively. Offensively, we can't score with them either. Same thing happened in the second half against Texas A&M. So, with that being said, you've got to figure out how to right the ship these last 3 games going into the offseason, going into the hopefully long shot for a postseason berth if you make it to the SEC championship game. Texas A&M has to lose. Actually, LSU, I don't know if LSU has. They don't have a shot there. They don't have a chance, I don't think,
For what?
to get to the SEC deal. I mean, A&M's got to lose 2 games. Texas and someone else. So
Kentucky. Arkansas.
Arkansas
Salty.
plays Texas this week.
Salty.
All right, Arkansas plays Texas this week. Texas has to play A&M at the end of the year. My point in saying this is 9-3 doesn't look great. It's not. They can't go 7-5. They can't just tank, end up getting upset in one of these next 3 games.
You've given up 14 completions in the last.
And Rizzi looked great. Obviously, as a head coach, you could tell he's got a ton of energy. You can tell you love him. Interim coach effect right there. He almost passed out. He was so excited after the game. Offensive lineman or defense, I think it was Peyton Turner, was holding on to him so he doesn't collapse. He got a little jelly-legged, and he held him up. He says, all right, big guy, I'm good. Thank you for holding me. And he goes in the locker room.
I was mad at you, but I'm
Hey,
not.
listen to me. That was the most energy the New Orleans Saints have shown all year. You could tell that they wanted to win for him. Obviously, they got to continue that to keep going. I think it was the first win against a ranked team. First win against a winning team with a winning record, I think, in 3 years, maybe 2 years. Maybe that was just an exaggeration. Definitely this year.
Everything's right in front of you.
Dennis Allen hadn't been doing good with that. And Rizzi comes in there and gets the win. So that's a big win for the Saints. It made it entertaining. College football. Ton of upsets. You talked
Miami
about
lost.
You talked about LSU. Oh, man. Ton of upsets. Miami lost. Didn't think that they were going to – they couldn't score. Georgia Tech beat the shit out of them. Right? It was never really that close. I mean, they final score like maybe, but they couldn't move the ball. I think they only scored 23 points. They get their first loss. Now SMU is the head of the ACC, so SMU and Miami probably going to be right in the middle for the ACC championship game. I believe that one of those 2 teams, whoever loses, that's out of the playoff. Whoever wins is probably going to be in it. Indiana wins, covers though. Michigan covered. We said they were going to cover. It was 25-20. I think it was 14.5 points, right, Michigan? Y'all didn't want to take Michigan. I did. They covered.
Not the parlay. Hey, look at us.
We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
That's why it's salty.
We're not doing that. We all thought that was the slam dunk. Honestly.
I know.
We all thought that
we all wanted to take it for who has the first pick.
We all thought that was a slam dunk. Jared brought it up first, and we were like, yeah.
Ooh.
And so we were like, okay, you brought it up first, so if you want it, you can have it. But we all wanted to take it.
We all got dunked on.
We all wanted to take it, right? 24.5 points, a lot of points. Mississippi State covered, right? The over. Did y'all realize? Do y'all know how the over hit?
No, I didn't watch any football.
The over hit because Shiloh Sanders had the fumble recovery for a touchdown at the end of the game.
Did you see the ball boy?
That was the only reason the over hit there, which is awesome for the parlay, awesome for my bet. But that was a lucky hit. And so I think Carson Beck is in a pickle because he hasn't been good, and Georgia has not been good offensively, and Georgia isn't as dominant as they have been defensively, so they can't get away with it anymore. And Ole Miss ran them off the field. Ole Miss beat them 28-10. Wasn't close, right? Dominated them from start to finish. I thought, and you thought that when the game started, I was like, oh, Georgia's gonna boat race them. Jackson Dart kind of comes up, gimpy, throws the interception. You're like, oh, here we go. And then after that, it was over, right? Came back. So they got now.
SEC's wide open.
Georgia's got 2 losses. Ole Miss has got 2 losses. LSU's got 2 losses in the SEC, 3 losses overall. A&M's got 2 losses, only 1 in the SEC.
Sue me for playing a hard schedule.
And listen, it's fine. Like, it's okay. Sometimes the thing you're going to have, you're not always going to be perfect. You got to finish this season out strong, but we'll see. It's a crazy world out there in college football. We'll see how it ends up. We had some conversation off air about this. So let's have the conversation on air. How do we feel? You were in the game. You played. I'm proud of you.
I played?
No, you played kind of in the stands. I'm proud of you. No poncho, no You didn't go for cover. You stayed there for the entire game. You and probably 10 fans. I'm proud of you for doing that.
The real ones.
It was not very fun to watch. What was your before we get to before we go, let's go down the list. What was your take on the game? What did you feel? You told me today that you were positive. I was not positive.
You were in the game until you weren't.
You're never in the game.
You were.
Never. That's the problem.
I love Garrett Nussmeier.
I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I think he's his first year starter. He's making some bad mistakes.
Toy Story 3?
Yes, I have.
When he's getting put back together, Woody, that's where we are.
Oh boy.
See, Nuss is not broken.
Oh my goodness.
He's not. He knows what he needs to do. He just needs to hone that thing. He did it early in the year.
And
He did
Jared
early in the
made
year.
some salient points about what you can't go broke taking a profit. And that's where Nussmeier shined early in the year. And I felt like he thought that LSU needed to keep up with Alabama whenever you actually didn't. The defense settled in. You were, first off, little golf clap, Brian Kelly kicking the ball. You get him to the best part of the game, false start first play. Place was electric. 3rd and 15.
Then
You
realize
the wheels fell off.
Then you realize like, damn, they're actually getting them third down pretty frequently on this drive, and you're like, damn, we can't get off the field on third down. They just keep moving and moving. I think the second drive was like 15 plays. They had 2 drives, and I want to say they had like almost 30 plays run.
Nickel and dime.
They were just going down the field methodically until the first drive obviously popped the 35-yard run. All these types of things. So
the worst thing that could have happened what happened after you faced Marcel Reed, whenever you're like, okay, you have 2 weeks, 14 days, if my math is right, to be able to fix the one thing that you don't think that you're very good at, the one thing that you have to cover. Whenever you lose to a quarterback, Marcel Reed threw it twice. You lose.
Yep.
Jalen Milroe threw it 12 times, 18 dropbacks, 150 yards. The other part of that is the running part, where you thought that maybe we'd clean this up a little bit. Not the case.
No. 185 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns, not great. We did not score a
380 yards against LSU and 8 touchdowns.
in two games.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot. We didn't score a touchdown until 13 seconds left in the game.
Worth it.
Right? We had opportunities. We had 3 of them early on in the game to keep this game tight, to score a touchdown. One of them, now listen, you can blame it on Lacey. He did drop it. Should have caught it. Right? There's no excuse. Catch the ball. You're the number 1 receiver. You make that play, contested or not, you make that play in the end zone. But
hands in the rice. As
Jared will talk about here, there's some other routes. There's some other guys that were open had he gone through his progressions and not got stuck on one thing. So that leads me to you, Jared. What did you see from the game? Right? Obviously, you watched it and you're like, man, they got their ass kicked. And it wasn't good, but it wasn't like they were super far off, which is, I know, frustrating to say, but talk to me.
Yeah, one, bear with me because I got nothing. Got nothing.
I've been
It was
there.
a loud day. There's a lot going on. I wasn't even honestly yelling at the game because there wasn't much to yell at anyway. But I will say this.
Au contraire.
I will say this. When I watched the game, what I saw is I do think, first of all, to understand, in my opinion, how you play guys like Jalen Milroe is you ask them to go 10, 12, 15 plays down the field to beat you. You don't allow them to give the big plays. So you do that. So when you get them to do that and they do score, in my opinion, tip that hat, because I feel like those type of guys, they're not willing to do that for 60 minutes. They won't do it all game, and then game in and game out.
Right.
So
The problem is you got to do that. Defensively, you got to do it.
well, no, that's my point. Is when you were getting to do that, when you're getting them to do that early on in the game, you have to understand how to match it.
Yeah.
They're going to be on the field for a long time. You need to start being able to convert, stay ahead of the change, keep the ball, move the ball as well. And we didn't do that early. What I saw Jalen Milroe do early, especially within like the first 2 quarters, is he took those check down throws. He took the easy plays. We did not. We didn't take the easy throws. We didn't take the easy plays. And it led to us trying to play catch up as soon as we got the ball. And when you do that in the rain against a good team with all of that was going on around this game, it makes it incredibly hard to be efficient and to play really well. And they were not able to do it. But when I watch the game and I think about it, I honestly liked a lot of what they were doing defensively early on. I did.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought the biggest thing, and I talked about it last week, I said, you know who's going to have to play really good football for us to win this game? I thought Garrett Nussmeier needed to play really good football for us to win the game. I don't think he played really good football for us.
You know who else thought he needed to play really good football to win the game? Garrett Nussmeier.
Yep.
It's fair, because he didn't.
And he tried to do it too much.
Tried to do too much. And I think in my assessment is early on, especially through the first half, you had Jalen Milroe whooping Garrett Nussmeier's ass. That's really what I saw. He took the checkdowns. He took the easy plays. The other one tried to force it. One played ahead of the 8-ball. The other one played behind the 8-ball. And that made it really tough to come back and win a game like that. And obviously, they just beat you to a pulp. And they beat you until you quit. And that's what they did.
And you know the other part of it is we talked about, we need to run the ball, get more creative with the running game. They did that, and then they stopped it. They did it. They got creative. They got big yard chunk plays. They got big. Hey, what did you say last week? Why don't we do some stretch concepts? Why don't we get this thing to the outside? The 60-yard, whatever run that was that
first run from
Durham
scrimmage.
did?
First run from scrimmage.
Yep, that was a stretch to the right. We did it one time. And then you start, so then you do a direct snap with Juwan Johnson, which was wild. Came out of nowhere.
Creative.
But at least you're trying to get
Speaking
creative.
of 8-balls.
Right? You had some other things going on, and you're like, oh, this is great. We're actually getting some positive yards moving forward, and then all of a sudden, no more. No more running. You don't have any opportunity to run the football. Yeah, you're behind, but you got a long game, right? And so let's continue to do something. Hey, why don't we do the stretch concepts, and why don't we try to go the other side, and then let's continue to get it, and then how about we do it and then pull it down and play action, and then maybe try to take a shot deep instead of just going stretch the field deep without having any type of run game. And so you could tell that they were trying to do those things, and they did it, but they just didn't do it. They stopped. They just stopped. It was like we got creative, and then I'm like, all right, let's go back to what we've been doing, which I don't understand either. We got dominated in the interior offensive line, which we figured that was going to be a big point of contention, was the center and the left guard. Is it left guard or right guard?
Left guard.
Left guard. Center and the left guard.
Miles Turner's fine.
Miles
Turner's good.
Just
Doing just
yeah.
fine.
Miles Frazier.
Miles Turner, old.
Yeah, Miles Frazier.
Played for the Pacers.
But they were taking advantage of the the most inexperienced guys we got on the offensive line. And our center hasn't played well through the course of the year. He's a younger guy trying to figure it out. And they took advantage of that. And they continued to add on. We did not keep pace with them. And the opportunities that we had to, we failed. We got down there on the first drive of the game, had an opportunity to score a touchdown, didn't. Kicked a field goal. Fine. They go down there, score again. Then we go down, and we have an opportunity to score a touchdown. We stall out, kick a field goal. Now it's 14-6, right? And
we didn't really stall out. We also had a big holding penalty on that play, which kind of killed the drive.
Yeah, killed the drive. And I don't believe, was it holding? Was it like an obvious holding?
Yeah, it was obvious.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game.
Yeah, it was. He tackled him.
What?
It was well.
I didn't watch the I mean, it's hard to see those replays whenever they're not gonna show the
But
holding.
You didn't watch the game. You were there.
Yeah, I didn't watch it on TV. They're not gonna show the holding penalties on the big screen in the stadium.
They will show touchdowns that didn't count.
Right, but they're not gonna show the holding
Crazy
penalties.
that they didn't call that one right either, which was mind blowing to me because there is a lot of evidence that he was down.
Yeah, and the phantom face up, but the referees weren't the issue. I promise.
Because it's still third or fourth down, I think, after that play. So I'm not sitting here saying they still wouldn't score, but I like to have to make them try, and not just give it to them at that point. So
yeah, it was all around not good. We got dominated. It was not fun, and you've got to pick your fucking chin up off the fucking dirt and say, hey, we got to go to Florida. And look, I know Florida ain't, but they've been playing better. Billy Napier has his job, so he's going to try to go out there and have a big win. Anytime Florida and Billy Napier plays LSU, in his mind, it's going to be a big win because of the situation that happened when he was trying to get the head coaching job here. It didn't happen. Whether that's a real thing or not, deep down, I think subconsciously there's a little bit of extra motivation there.
No Lagway.
We don't know. Lagway's practicing. We're seeing if he's going to play. But you have to go. You go to Florida after you got your ass beat by Alabama. You're losing 2 straight games. This is going to show a lot about what the team is, who the team is, and how they're going to be able to respond going into Florida and trying to come out there and playing the brand of football they need to play. Because you can't go there and lay an egg. If you do that, the season's over. Like, you are. So that's more embarrassing than what happened in Alabama.
I'm going to be honest with you. Season's over. This is about building towards next year.
Season's over. That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's about building towards next year. This is literally, all right, what are we going to put, what kind of foundation are we going to lay towards next year? They don't have to say it. They don't want to say it. But that's where you're pretty much at this point, because you need a lot of help to be able to get to meaningful postseason football from this point. You don't run your own destiny anymore. So at this point, this is about finishing out a season strong, building towards what you can do the next year. It just is. That's the reality of where you're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, you have to – you don't want to go backwards, right? You went 9-3 and you got to 10 wins. You went 9-3, you got to 10 wins, right? Everybody wanted that 10-win regular season this year, of course. You go 9-3 and you get to 10 wins again. It's not everybody wanted, but at least you're not going backwards. You're going forwards in a sense, not necessarily record-wise, but you're going forward because you've established 3 straight years. You're building recruiting classes that come back, and you can go to your recruiting class that you have right now.
They were all there.
And you say, hey, listen to me. We're not far. We're pretty fucking close to being where we need to be. We're not there yet, but we can be with you. You come in there and you can play right away. If you're good enough, you can play right away. There's spots. Hey, pick it. You have an opportunity to play right away. You come in early and early whenever he's coming in, you're going to start on one side of the field. You have the opportunity to make some impacts early on and add to what we've already built. Now you go ahead and you go lay an egg at Florida and you lose, and you come home and you look terrible, and Vanderbilt gives you all your money, gives it what it's all, because Vanderbilt is liable to beat you.
They lost.
Right? They did lose. Right? But you come in here and you don't take care of business, and now all of a sudden it looks sloppy, and you go through the season and you end up like 8-4. That doesn't look good with a recruiting class. You may start to see some guys kind of tail off.
Yeah.
That ain't good. What? You don't like
how
that?
desperate Michigan is by hiring Connor Stallions.
Oh, yeah. What's the deal with that?
That's the cheapest.
They didn't hire him. The high school hired him, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, but who do you think directed it?
Yeah, of course.
It's the Portnoy play. I appreciate the game.
Wait, what happened?
Connor Stallions now coaches for Bryce Underwood's high school.
Hired Bryce Underwood's high school team. Just hired him. He's calling plays just for the postseason.
They're trying everything.
Hey,
you're literally the man with the boombox at your ex-girlfriend's house. Like, me.
We are going to bring in an offensive coordinator, not someone who's been on the team that knows. We're going to bring somebody from the outside in who's going to call plays now with the playoffs happening.
And he got fired from his high school job after losing 86-0 in his first game. This is the man on Netflix that everybody's like, oh, he's a genius.
Oh boy.
That's their mole. That's their guy that they got in on the inside at Belleville, Michigan.
Well, here's my question to you.
If you're Bryce Underwood, you watch that game and you go,
I'm coming
I
here.
can fix it.
Yeah, I'm coming here. Then you had DeCorian Moore on campus.
That did not help DeCorian Moore's situation.
No, it did not, but he had him on campus.
Because Oregon is a wagon.
No doubt. But Oregon's not going to have a quarterback. Who's their quarterback after? Moore. Right? The guy from UCLA?
Yeah.
He was a 5-star, and it was a chair.
Okay.
Oh,
he ain't Dan Orlovsky, dude. Jeez. He looked at you like, damn. I was like, that was a chair. Who was the guy that Dante Moore?
Dante Moore.
Yep, transferred. So I think he's the backup there.
Dylan Gabriel took him a while to get off the mat, but it looks like Morgan's for real. That said, what LSU has played is a real schedule, and it's going to come back to bite you because of the USC loss doesn't look great now, and now you have 2 losses in conference. But everybody, and this is where the whole day felt ominous. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you not feel a little bit weird all day?
It never felt.
It's Omar's fault.
It didn't feel like Ole Miss. I think it was the weather's fault.
Omar, Jeff.
It took attention from the game. That was the conversation was about Omar, not the game.
I thought the flyover might have saved it.
I missed the flyover. I was pissed.
You were? How?
I was walking in late.
He was politicking.
No. That was actually his fault, kind of.
No, it wasn't my fault.
He convinced my wife to play 2 more rounds of
No,
Flip
it wasn't
Cup.
me. He was still playing Flip Cup. I was ready to roll.
It was bullshit. So you talk, he convinced, he has turned the pot. I'm saying let's go. And I was like, let's play one more. He's like, yeah, let's play one more game. You're right there. The line's now we didn't miss a play. We got in there.
So
we
you
missed
didn't
all.
even see Omar coming.
We missed all the other stuff. We got in there. I was like,
distraction.
damn, we're right in the middle. What's that?
Badass Tiger.
He didn't escape
Stop
though.
it. Peter's going to come after us.
He didn't
Don't do
escape. He didn't escape.
But
though.
Peter already came.
that. Us.
Oh, that's fine.
Us.
Take him. Take Omar back home. But that whole thing, just the whole day felt weird. It didn't feel like Ole Miss where weather was bad. It was always kind of lurking, and then you felt like you were cursed. And this might be, like I said, Chicago Cubs situation, Black Cat scenario, where there's a 100-year anniversary. Might be 100 more years before you see a natty in LSU.
Okay,
I'm just saying, curse is curse.
let's not do that. Okay.
It's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen like Doomsday Lloyd. He's been going for a while.
But this is a 180 from what the conversation I had with him at 4:30
Yeah,
today.
he's back now. Doomsday Lloyd is back now.
I disagree with you about the curse. I agree with you that the day felt ominous. I felt weird.
It was a weird
Right?
day.
I
I got it there an hour and a half early.
you made your TV debut.
Well, depends on who you ask. Thank you.
Yeah,
a lot of
how
people
was
don't
that?
understand how TV works. They're like, why are you wearing a green shirt? I was like, well, that was on Friday. I hate to tell y'all.
Yeah,
Movie
they got
magic.
that early.
Movie magic is that it's called B-roll.
So you were there setting up. You helped them set up.
Yep. I
Oh,
thought
look
I was
at
showing
you.
everything I could to help
Put
LSU.
all the good karma. You'll never do that again.
No.
No, one and done now.
Yeah.
One and done now. Like, damn it, Party Box don't get Lloyd to help set up. I tried it, didn't work. I'm done.
Going back to my
I'm
old.
showing
Going back to my
up.
old.
Showed up.
Showed up
with
in
nothing.
boots.
Empty-handed with my backpack, maybe.
That's right.
An
That's
hour and
it.
a half late.
Hour and a half late.
I'm
I will
going.
say
I'll
this.
be there at 4:00 next time for 11:00 kick.
I will say this. I lost my sunglasses in the Ole Miss game.
See, I tried
And
everything.
I asked my cousins, hey, is it in there? He said no. And then all of a sudden, Lloyd shows up to me with the sunglasses in his hand. He said, Robert told me to give this to you. He said, we found it on the bus. I'm like, he told me he didn't have them. So that was a great start to the day.
I'm no longer being nice.
Yeah, all the karma didn't work. Maybe you're just not a good, maybe you're just a bad, you just have to
I'm
be.
the black hat.
Yep, that's what you have to be. You have to be you.
That's why I wore this shirt. Baseball season starts. Bear Jones, 2 bombs.
2 bombs on the rainy Sunday against UL.
Well, good for them because the football game was so bad that no hangover. You
You're
just got
right.
to leave early.
You're right. Nobody's going to celebrate after the game. Everybody left early. Tough. But with the recruiting class, right? Obviously, I was talking recruiting class before we moved on. I don't think this has any effect on that, right? Like, I think that these guys are pretty much set because of what the NIL and the money that they're getting, and then what it doesn't change anything that's going forward.
If Bryce Underwood flips, I'll kill myself.
Okay, that's aggressive.
But with that said, like everything that happened during that game where you'd be like, oh, this is bad for recruiting, like DeCorian Moore is a different situation where you're trying, like, if you show out, everything before that game was great. Like, the atmosphere was there. You got a taste of Tiger Stadium to where, like, okay, I would love to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
And then everything you see to that point in the entire game where you're like, oof, you also go, damn, if I'm in that number, I could help.
No
and
doubt.
if you're Bryce Underwood, you're going, look, I think Nuss is there's conversation. We've had this conversation before. We've done it with Jaden Daniels where what happened in 2022 where people were like, oh, he's going to be one and done. He's gone. Like, get him out of here. Get Nuss in. Comes back, wins the Heisman, and the offense has never looked better. Nuss has started 8 games in his collegiate career, played in 18.
9, 10,
10.
6
10,
and 3.
10,
One
10,
last year.
10, yeah.
10.
Yeah, one last year. Started 9 games.
10.
10.
With the
I
bowl
guess
game.
you could.
Yeah, with the bowl
Yeah.
game and the 9 games this year.
I was listening to McShay talk about this because he had him.
Oh, Shea was talking about this today?
Yeah, he has a podcast now. He went live. And he was like,
What was the deal with him? Did he have some issues?
Well, I'm not going to speak on McShay's personal life.
Don't you know it, though?
I think it was substance abuse, if I had to guess.
Was
Hey,
it?
we all battle demons.
Was it? I didn't know if he was sick or if it was actually substance
No,
abuse.
some people can't handle their salt. I mean,
Go ahead.
Oh, God.
It's up to you, man.
All right, go ahead. What did he say? What
Some
did,
people are better on it than
what did
others.
Sober
He's
McShay
still a little
say?
scatterbrained, but
What
love
did he say?
McShay.
Sober McShay. Sober McShay.
Well,
Ish.
the show's all
Cali
over
sober, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's all over the place.
5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
Cali sober.
Stop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But-
sober on alcohol, maybe.
But he,
Weed, maybe. Oh, okay.
so he had his podcast. I don't know who he hosted with. I never met the man, but he was saying like all the draft nicks, is his phrase, was like, hey, I was on Nuss early. Like, look at him. I love the arm talent. I love the way that he moves around the pocket. And this is all that we talked about pre-show. Like, everything up until, I would say, maybe even A&M. Like, the second half of A&M. Like, there was a lot to like about Nuss in terms of, like, dude, he could be a first-round pick because of how the quarterback room shakes out when you look at around the world and what's going on in college football. Cam Ward, maybe. Shador, maybe. Definitely. Not Carson Beck. And then you're like, well, you know how...
Not Dylan Gabriel. He's not a pro guy,
maybe.
I don't think.
But you know how...
Think?
Yeah, he's got the second best odds to win the Heisman at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, just because
but that proves my point, is because the way that the NFL goes is the closer you get to the draft, the more of these teams that fall towards the first, second, third, fourth, fifth pick are like, we need a quarterback. And Garrett Nussmeier was in that world of, like, I'm going to be a top 15 pick.
And here's the deal.
And he still might be.
Right, and here's the deal. Garrett Nussmeier's
intangibles.
Everything he does, even in this game, up until him not going through the rest of his progressions were good. His pre-snap recognition, the ability to control the offense, know wherever he needs the body to go, move people around, the ability to know from the first stop, hey, this is where I probably should go based off of the pre-snap. The issue that he had in the game, the last couple games, is I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to stay there, and I'm going to stay there, and I'm not going to go down to anybody else. Right? I have two reads. I'm not getting off of. And at the beginning of the season, he did such a good job of going there. He was spreading the ball. We talked about that beginning of the year. It's like, how many guys are getting catches? You're not having a ton of guys with 10 catches in a game. You're getting a bunch of guys with 5, 6 catches in a game, which is a good sign by the quarterback. You're no longer seeing that. Right? You're seeing some inefficiencies because he's not coming off of it. But all the other stuff that makes him a good quarterback, he's still got. He just got to hone the other part, and that's part of the 9 starts as a starting quarterback. You're going to have to get through that. But the only way you get through that is by playing. So I'm with you. I still think he's a first-round talent.
I agree. And that's where I think that this is the positive side of me. I'm back.
Okay.
Everything that has led up to what everything. Yeah, it does.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes. That's Garrett Nussmeier. But because of the things that you have in front of him, when you lost Garrett Dillinger, and God forbid he better come back, that tightrope better hold. But whenever you have
he's playing in Florida, right? Didn't they say he could be back in Florida?
Maybe. It could. I don't think you need him. But you'll need him after that.
Yeah. Maybe
Vanderbilt, definitely. But everything
crazy to say.
Yeah.
Don't even Florida on the road.
Definitely need Vanderbilt at home. But everything that you've asked Garrett Nussmeier to do, you have. Like, look at the situation you put him in. You don't have Malik Neighbors. You don't have Brian Thomas. The only thing that, like, there's no consistency except for your 2 tackles on the left and right side, and that is something that you can, like, you're happy to have. But whenever you have a redshirt freshman center and you insert Paul Mubanga, redshirt freshman at left guard, Alabama exposed that. They knew exactly where your weakness was, and when you can't run the football and you ask Garrett Nussmeier to get to the line of scrimmage, make your offensive line checks, read the defense, assign your wide receivers with what to do, all of that is why you end up spending 2 timeouts in the first quarter. Like, he has a lot on his plate, and now you don't have protection in front of you. This is a world that exists. Like, that can happen whenever you're trying to make so many decisions, you kind of forget the position that you're playing of.
But
you go ahead.
But that is why, too, I think when these situations are happening around you, you need to get back to being point guard and not playmaker. I think the way things have gone the last couple weeks, where, say Texas A&M, where the onslaught starts, you wanted to match. So you wanted to be playmaker instead of point guard.
You don't need to be Steph Curry, you need to be John Stockton.
You should be John Stockton. And I think, okay, I didn't do that one right. Let me be playmaker again. Because there was times where I could get the ball down to these checkdowns. That has nothing to do with Garrett Dillinger not being there. That has nothing to do with you having a young tackle or a young guard. I mean, that was plays you could have made that they stood up for, that he did not make because you were trying to be playmaker and not point guard. I think getting back to that way, which was what he talked about earlier, where he was spreading the ball around. He was being point guard.
And comfortable.
I don't care. He wasn't getting hit. And he was still trying to be playmaker.
I think those go hand in hand.
He was still being – he was not – the bad play that happened, especially in the first half against Alabama, wasn't because the back of his jersey was dirty. He wasn't on his ass. He was upright, and not making those reads because he wanted to be playmaker.
Well, and part of the reason why he was upright outside of the protection was because of how quickly he was getting through those reads, right? Like he was going through 1, 2, 3. Okay, here's my check down. Here's my third read. Here's my second read. Let me get out of this thing quick, stay in rhythm. They don't have time to get to him, right? Now, when you start doing that, everybody starts to kind of get in rhythm and the offense kind of falls in place. It feels like over the last few weeks, we've gotten out of that. It's been, all right, we're going to make these big chunk plays and do all these types of things. It's like, you got to let the game – you can't be shooting threes from half court from the beginning of the game. You got to let them get in the flow of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's sometimes to me – so, like, to me – sometimes, and if you probably go watch later in the game, I think those things sped up and it looked that way. But I do think, like, if I watch early on in the game, the absolute first play of the game to Kyron Lacey, you can tell they motion over. They get the man that they're looking for. It's one-on-one to Kyron Lacey. He goes there. It's not there. He throws it away. But if he just looks down, the running back's right there in the flats looking for it. And he's got a chance to throw it to him, but he doesn't because he doesn't even look there. He's like, my number one's not there. Let me not get sacked. Throw it away. Stop being playmaker. Be point guard. Right. Find the next one. The next one was right in front of you, but you never looked down to him. So, like, I think he has to get back to that to start being that quarterback where he's playing at an elite level again.
But I do have a lot of faith in him. I don't think he needs to be. Well, you can't bench him. You got nobody else to put in there. I mean, I guess.
And that's a lot of the conversation that I'm hearing is fire everybody, fire Sloan, fire. No, and none of that makes sense because look, you were dealt a hand because, and we talked about this before the show, where you want to judge Brian Kelly off year 3. This is what happens whenever you make mistakes in your first 2 years. Now you have an entirely new staff with a new quarterback. You have a first-year play caller in the SEC. You have a first-year quarterback that's played 9 games. And everything is 10 games. And you forget that he played against Arkansas after Max Johnson threw that touchdown.
He didn't start.
He did.
It was the bowl game.
I know. I know. I'm just talking about. I'm making it 11 now because after the first 3 series, Max Johnson yanked, and then he starts the touchdown to Jack Besh, but that was it. And I understand how all of this is moving very quickly, but also LSU is a product or a victim of its own success,
or Nick Saban's.
Yeah, that too. But at this point where you are, because of you were able to come back against South Carolina 17-0 win, you beat Ole Miss at home in like an unbelievable game, and then you start looking ahead. We're like, well, LSU should be you're playing for a playoff spot. But at what point did you actually think that LSU was a playoff team? Not really ever. Not only like a national championship team, should I say. Like, this is you're a victim of your own success where people got excited, and this is what the LSU fan base does, and that's fair. But now you're starting to regress to the mean a little bit of what LSU is when you have freshman running back that you're depending on. Like, that's not LSU.
Nobody in this room before the season started thought that
Cade Durham's the X factor.
And nobody in this room before the season started said that we were going to go 11-1.
So
right?
You're exactly where you thought you would be.
10-2 was our ceiling. 9-3 was probably what we all thought we were going to be anyway.
So I'll say the reason why I say Nick Saban has been a cause of all this because you got to think about it. And if you think this mindset, you go, Alabama comes in or you go to Alabama, that's your biggest rivalry every year, right? If that's a team that is your biggest rivalry and it's pretty obvious that you're their biggest rivalry pretty much, well, if they're a national championship contended team, what the hell are you? Why is this a big rivalry? So for it to be that, the thought process already is, well, if they're that good and they're looked at in that light and we're there and this is the biggest rivalry game, well, we got to be in that light too. And that's pretty much where you are. But Nick Saban, because of what he's done here, because of what he's done there, because of what that's been, that whole mindset is still where it is. And that's, it's been a big part of it.
But I think that's why this one stings more than any other.
It was the first year without him. And you're like,
right. If this is your chance to make yourself, like you could have closed that chapter on the Nick Saban book to where, okay, the boogeyman's gone. It's no longer Nick Saban and coming into LSU and being able to beat
the
boogeyman's
gone, but he didn't move out.
Listen, you're
he didn't move out
yet. No, you're gonna have to give Alabama.
No, but I'm saying you could have
probably.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
He the boyfriend moved out, but he ain't taking shit yet. You know what I'm saying? Like his stuff's still there. I gotta go back and get my stuff.
They still got a joint checking account.
Yeah, exactly.
A couple like, hey, the lonely nights coming back a couple times. You know what I mean? Like he ain't out yet.
Those are my shoes.
He still got some shit in the closet. Like,
hey, I didn't come get my I left my toothbrush.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
he's
you see what I'm saying? Like,
give me my shirt.
with the way college
Alabama.
with the way college football is set up right now, with the playoffs and the NIL and the 12 teams, all that kind of stuff, LSU every year has an opportunity to, no matter what happens the year before, you don't have to go undefeated with one loss. Everyone else is kind of coming back, like everybody's kind of getting level.
Regressing
right?
to the mean.
Level playing field. Not just LSU, but Georgia's got 2 losses. Alabama's got 2 losses. Texas probably end up with 2 losses at the end of the year. By the end of the year, you have a lot of teams, especially in the SEC, that's going to be competitive every single year, which I think is good for college football. And I'm circling this thing back to what you said about everybody says get rid of everybody, start over. That's taking 10 steps backwards. You've fought so hard for 3 years to put yourself into a situation where you're actually making some progress and you actually have a culture. If you go ahead and you start doing this all over again, now all of a sudden you're going to lose recruits. You're going to lose some of this class. You're going to lose a lot of this momentum that you've built. And you got just hold. Everybody take a deep breath and be patient because it's not all bad. It's not going to be terrible. It's not. We're not Florida. We're not Florida State. Like, we're not in the situation where we are playing bad football. We played bad for a game and a half. Okay? Figure it out. Go 9-3. This team was a national championship roster team. Everybody at LSU could look before the season started and will tell you they're not a national championship team.
And if you had dreams of being even a playoff team, it was with Jacoby and Guillory, maybe John Emery, who was your running back one for about 4 quarters, and then also maybe your best player on the team, Harold Perkins. All 3 are gone. And then you started to convince yourself of, oh, the sum is greater, like the parts are greater than the sum of the team. All of this is very fun to say until you actually need Harold Perkins. You need
no doubt
Jacoby and Guillory.
And that brings so Jacoby and Guillory's come back, but that brings the question: does Harold come back next year? Right? Because here's the deal: both of those guys come back. You have Stamps coming back. Zy Alexander can't come back, right?
No, then but DJ Pickett.
You bring in Pickett, right? You have the young guys in the back end that are going to be not as young anymore. They're going to be more experienced. You're bringing in some other talented guys. You're bringing in the best Weeks brother, right? So you potentially have Witt and the youngest one. I don't know what his name is. You have West, Witt, and is it another W maybe? I don't know. But you have he's supposedly the best one out of the 3. He's coming in.
50 tackles.
And you go bring in your quote unquote best player back if he comes back to LSU. The defense is going to be the best defense that we've probably had in the last 3 years. You're gonna have the young the young edge guys back, right? Now you're gonna lose your 2 veteran guys, but you have the young guys back. So
Jakeem Stewart graduating early and moving high school is not a mistake.
Jakeem Stewart, is he coming?
It's not a mistake that
he's coming. He's got to be coming, right?
That's a Frank Wilson special.
No doubt, right? So now you put yourself in a situation where, yeah, they may be young, but if they are that talented, you have Bro inside, right? He was a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore. My point is saying this, the defensive side of the football is going to be the most experienced and deepest they've had in a long time next year. I say a long time, last 3 years next year, right? Offensively, you're going to have the bigger question marks. Offensively, you're going to have a lot more people to replace. But, you have the portal. I'm not as worried about the offensive line with the guys that we have as far as bringing the recruits that we brought in and developing them. I'm worried about the experience, but that's going to be the biggest thing that you're going to have to figure out next year. So my point is saying all is not lost. Everybody needs to hold on. Because if you don't do this and you get rid of these guys,
now
you're going backwards, and now that whole momentum is gone.
And that becomes like Brian Kelly did do this to himself. We talk about like you judge me on year 3, and like we said a little bit earlier,
he shouldn't. Yeah, you're
right. He did it to himself, but this is now year 1, and so judge him on year 3 from here. And because of the fact that you're not going to get rid of him, 10 years guaranteed, $100 million. He ain't going anywhere. For people that want to get rid of Scott Woodward also. He's also bought you 2 national championships already. So, with that said, football, I understand, is the golden goose, and it's the one that you want to succeed the most. This is what you got. Let it ride.
I'm looking at this recruiting class. I don't like talking a ton about recruiting, but they're 4th in the country right now, right? I think they got a couple more other people. This is before the portal. They have a couple other people in the mix. I feel like that could maybe put them over the top.
That's without Jakeem Stewart committed.
That's without Jakeem Stewart, right? You got Underwood, which everybody already knows about. You have DJ Pickett, everybody already knows about. You have Harlan Berry,
JT Woods,
which everybody already knows about, right? So now you have a 1-2 combo in the backfield with Harlan Berry and Caden Durham was pretty good. Harlan Berry's number one running back in the country.
Caleb Jackson's out there somewhere.
Right? Then, here's people don't forget. Cade Phillips, right? He's a cornerback from Texas, from Houston. He is
And
borderline
wide receiver.
Huh?
Plays both.
Yeah, he's a borderline 5-star. Right? He is right underneath that. So one of the mistakes that Brian Kelly made when he first got here was getting rid of who recruits the cornerbacks? Coy Raymond. Getting rid of Coy Raymond. You bring him back. It's the first year you got him back. And you're seeing the benefits of the recruiting class. You talked about some of your early sins as pushing his timeline back. That was it, right? That was the mistake he made.
Recruiting coordinator was Brian Polian,
right?
Who got shipped off to his alma mater at a D2 school. He is not LSU's recruiting coordinator. You know who is? Frank Wilson. That's how you get Harlan Berry. That's how you get Jakeem Stewart.
Yep.
All is right in the world with LSU and how it should be. You had Blake Baker on staff, you let him go. You had Corey Raymond on staff, you let him go.
They got some dudes. Like,
everything is how it should be now. That's what I'm saying. You push the timeline back, and I know it sucks to hear, but that's the reality in which you live now.
You talk about,
and he's righted. Brian Kelly has righted the wrongs. All you have to do is go get Greg McMahon, who has forced the most turnovers on special teams in the country at Tulane.
So, and we were used to have him.
That's what I'm saying. You let him walk, and now you don't even have a special teams coach. But that's here nor there.
I mean, like, what do we and this is a good recruiting class. I mean, this is a good coaching staff to be able to do this. What are we light at right now? Cornerback, linebacker, a little bit.
Might be receiver.
Some wide receiver. But if you go through this, you got 4 cornerbacks in this class.
Who did that?
Huh?
How did that happen?
Weird. All right, you have 3 linebackers in this class. So, like, you're doing the things that you need to do to replenish the defense. So my point is, I'm trying to give some positive spin on this, but you got to finish the season out strong. Got to.
That's why I said this is about building towards the future.
And that's
it just is.
Yeah, this is fun.
David LaFleur's son's coming, tight end.
Brian Bordelon.
There, baby.
No, but even if you look at the offensive line, you should even be in the position to where you have your third offensive lineman, redshirt freshman Pablo Benga, being able to play. Like, you lost Lance Hurd, Tyree Adams gets hurt, and then you still
Lance Hurd actually hurts us a little bit right now.
And then you still have somebody that's capable to play. Like, that's how deep you are at offensive line and what you've done in that recruiting room. Like, that's a testament to being able to have somebody that's even capable to play. Like, that's where you are at LSU, where a lot of the pieces are there. It's just going to take a little bit to put them all together, and that's where I can see the comparisons to a Les Miles recruiting-esque style, because you have to have everything come together at the same time. And right now, it hasn't happened. You didn't have the defense when you had the offense last year. Now you're losing your 2 bookend tackles, and you're starting over again at offensive line. Like, I understand the frustration, the sentiment, but at some points, it's not always going to work together at the same time.
No, right. And you got to develop, and they have the guys to be able to develop the guys.
You have the best staff in the country.
Yes, I believe that. Do you believe that?
Yeah,
I believe that. They're paid like it, and they are. I believe that they are. And you're starting. Whether you want to believe it or not, you're seeing the progress. The wins and losses are whatever, but you're seeing. The issue was the defense, right? The offense was not going to be what it was last year. You lost 3 first-rounders on the offense last year. Like, it's not. You lost a Heisman Trophy winner who's the best quarterback, not just rookie quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks playing in the league right now. Right?
Got shafted, by the way, on that 4th down.
Yeah, he did. But you had these guys. You have Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors are 2 of the top receivers in the league right now, rookie or not. Right? They're both gonna have 1,000 yards receiving. Brian Thomas having a better year. He wasn't hurt. Brian Thomas got like 6 touchdowns. You know
captain.
What I mean? Huh?
The captain of the Jaguars.
Yeah, like he is on a bad team. So you're getting rid of all you're trying to replace all this talent, and it's just not going to happen right away. You got to take some time. So
they're going to have to take some lumps,
and some lumps.
They're taking some right now.
Yeah, 9-3 would be okay. 10-3 at the end of the season, fine. Cheez-It Bowl, Pop-Tart Bowl.
Pop-Tart. I would love Pop-Tart Part 2.
Where's the Pop-Tart Bowl?
It's not in the playoff, but that's where and that's what I understand, because you let yourself get to that point where you say you built it up to, okay, it's Alabama. If you win this game, you go ahead and you start looking ahead to what's in LSU's future. You become a top 8 team in the country. I would still say, even with LSU's deficiencies, that just because of the conference you're in, the teams that you've played, that's what hurts you. If you're in the Big 10, Big 12.
No, of course, but that's all.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, but you're not that far off, is what I'm saying.
No, you're not.
You're not that far away, and I think they're only going to get better. And especially, this is a conversation that we had 2 years ago, whenever everybody didn't want to have Jaden Daniels come back, and you wanted Garrett Nussmeier. Think about a guy that comes back in their second year, and how much better they've gotten at LSU and under that system with Joe Sloan, who would also be a second-year play caller, and everybody has continuity. That's what matters in college football in a world where NIL, transfer portal, everything moves around. If you can keep continuity at quarterback, people that return their quarterback in college football or go get a great one, those are the ones that succeed and have.
And then you look at it, right? And you have you bring in Underwood, then you have a Hurts-Tua situation next year, right? Where Hurts is the guy, where Nussmeier's the guy. He's going to continue to go. But then you got Underwood to be able to get some experience, right? To be the guy, you're going to be the guy. You're probably the most talented guy, but you're the young guy, so you're going to be the guy unless maybe he plays so well that you have no choice to put him in. Which I think if Nuss comes back, Nuss going to play well enough to where he's the guy. But you also have a young guy learning from a veteran who understands it mentally, and it's going to help him out. You just don't want a true freshman starting. I mean, you're seeing what's happening with Tennessee right now, right? Like, it's hard, dude. No matter how talented you are, it's a hard fucking league.
You look at Nuss. He's been here for 4 years, and you're looking at somebody still struggle because whenever you get under the gun, it's a little bit different than you can practice as much as you want. But actually being there makes a difference, and having that experience from year 1 to year 2 is a huge difference. And that's why I think that, like, I hate to do this conversation now wherever you're already kind of pushing it to 2025.
No, we're not. I mean, we're just talking about the future, talking about what the last 3 games mean. Playoffs are over with unless 1% chance.
Yeah.
They're pretty much over. But you still have a lot to play for.
Yeah.
A lot. Pride is a big thing, right? And that's
I don't think anybody's checked out.
And and that's going to show you the culture, right? Like, that's going to show you how much the culture has changed now compared to what it was before.
You got to think about it too. The best part about it is the majority of their big playmakers, you kind of almost expect them all to be back next year anyway. Even though you're losing like guys, the majority of their big playmakers, you're like, well, Aaron's going to be back.
Yep.
Mason's obviously gone. Caden's going to be back. Look on the defensive side of the ball, Witt's going to be back. There's a lot of guys.
Xavier Thomas is back.
Xavier Thomas is going to be. There's a lot of
Ashton
guys you're
Stan's
still
back.
building with. Yeah, exactly.
Chris Hilton back.
Exactly. So that's my point. It's like, wait, the cupboard's not bare after this year. There's still a ton to go for. So these guys,
can't come back.
these guys need to keep coming. They got to keep going.
CJ Daniels interesting.
Sheldon Sampson on the roster still, if y'all didn't know. Here's my next question.
CJ Daniels might be able to come back. Got to get a waiver.
Here's my next question, though. Jawan Johnson, star to running back, right?
To quarterback.
The reason why, he was a quarterback, right, in high school. The most talented offensive player ever to come out of Louisiana, based off statistics, right? They say, okay, you're just going to go straight to cornerback. You're going to be defense. No offense. Even though you score a lot of touchdowns, you know where the end zone is. We're not going to give you an opportunity to do that. Now, we don't really have a lot of running backs. You can put you there. Part of the reason why Jared, when I say, why don't you put him at receiver, just feels like his body type is suited more for the wide receiver. It's a lot harder of a position to just throw him into midseason, right? Route concepts, understanding your breaks, understanding timing and chemistry with the quarterback. Do we think that maybe he's one of the guys that they say, okay, you're going to be one of those hybrid slot running back guys where we're going to put you out there, kind of like a Xavier Thomas, but more in routes next year? Like, learn it in the offseason as a wide receiver as opposed to throwing him in there, or no?
I mean, it's possible. It's possible you can see him get out there and do stuff more. It's hard to really do that in the season when he hasn't really run routes like that. So I mean, I can kind of understand it right now.
You can
But yeah,
see
it's
how
possible.
they're using him as a playmaker right
Yeah.
now. Like,
Right,
get
that's
in
what I'm
there
saying.
and just touch the ball.
Exactly.
Maybe as a returner,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just give him the ball in his hand. You got the young guys. Your your recruiting class was top 10. Deshaun Spears, P.J. Woodland. Those guys are back, right? 2 years in. Kyle Parker is going to come back.
Your guy.
Maybe he gets another year, right? Because of injury, or did he already play 4 games this year?
Still get a medical redshirt, but yeah, there's only 4.
Yeah, you still get another one. So he's a redshirt freshman. He'll be back. Now you have a lot of guys that you have coming back. Now offensive line's different, but you just got to finish this thing out strong and show the chemistry. If you keep that, I think you're in a good spot moving forward.
And even with the offensive line, like DJ Chester's going to get better. You put him in there for a reason. He's taking his lumps for sure, but you have that for the next 3 years. Like you count this year, redshirt freshman, he's going to be a stalwart in your offensive line. He's going to be a starter for the next 2 years. Paul Mubenga getting reps. Tyree Adams comes back. Like that's the guy that they wanted to play, but sports hernia, you didn't really think much of it until you actually had to think about it.
Yeah.
But they've recruited both sides of the ball very well to set themselves up. That's why you can't hit the eject button on all of these coaches and everything that you've built here under Brian Kelly. I understand the frustration, I do. But when you take a step back and look at all of the wrongs that he's righted so far, you're in a good spot. And that's why I continue to say you bring Nussmeier back with the weapons around him. You have Sloan get more comfortable as a play caller. All these things are positive. Like this was a growing year. You were over your skis a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not one for like the mistake to be giving, I guess, kind of an excuse for everything. But I think not us, but it's very easy to overlook how hard it is to build up a roster with 37 players on it.
Yeah, right.
I think people forget that's not easy to do, and that's not normal to do across the landscape of it. When guys get fired, that's not normal to look and see, shit, we only got 37 guys on the team. Who are we going to go get?
John Trey Kirkland's going to start quarterback for you against Kansas State in a bowl game.
Right.
And thank God he did. Like, people were shitting on us for doing that. That's why he could come back next year.
Right.
Because
Right.
he would have burned his red shirt.
Right.
Yep.
That's smart.
It's a great point.
Yep.
Great point.
So think about that.
LSU's going to be all right. Everybody needs to calm down. It sucks.
And you were in this football game for a long time. Score,
We need
go
to
for
stop- we
2,
need to
you
stop
make it a
saying
one-score
that. You need
game,
to
get
stop
the
saying- you need
ball
to stop
back.
saying that. You need to stop saying that.
You had an opportunity.
The theory
You
of
mean like just on the field?
yeah, that's what I said. Like the theory of like looking at the scoreboard, and like, oh, actually,
It's
we
crazy how long you were in that football
if
game
we
for how
just-
bad you played.
But if you're watching, theoretically, if I go down there and score, we get the ball at half because they didn't get the ball. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
I was so happy.
But if you actually watch the game, you were never in the game because they couldn't do it. They couldn't get in the end zone.
You cursed.
Once you went down there twice and didn't get in the end zone, you did, and then you threw the interception. It was over. Then you fumbled. It was over.
The interception was such a killer.
It was just
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt.
yeah.
That
But-
was a...
That would
Listen,
That
show
was
up.
gladiator style, like the
Yeah.
little baby knife. Whenever we're just having a conversation, like, "Why'd you do?" Well, fuck you. Ah,
Yeah, show up, show out for the rest of the season. Enjoy the last 3 games of the season. Watch it obviously this weekend, but then show up at the home game. 2 home games left.
that
And-
Vanderbilt game's gonna be desolate.
Enjoy it, but enjoy it.
I'll be there.
I'll be there too, but everybody needs to calm down. Understand where they're at, right? You're not winning the fucking national championship, and you weren't going to do it this year. I'm sorry. Even if you make the playoffs, I don't think you're going to win it.
Well,
You weren't
that's the part that hurts a little bit, I would imagine, because of how wild this college football season has been. This is when I also had the bad thoughts started coming after you saw Miami go down, and then you see Georgia go down, and you're like, oh, man, it's all setting up for LSU to make this kind of you're going to shoot up the rankings if you're able to beat Alabama. And I understand the conversation of that's still Nick Saban's team, but Nick Saban isn't over there.
No, I get it.
And then you get a false start on the first play, and everything's kind of weird, and it was just a kind of this atmosphere. You're like, okay, maybe this is the night that it happens. And then Omar happened, and it all went to shit. But
By the way, Paul Skeens just got announced as a finalist for the Cy Young.
Are they still doing that?
Mm-hmm. You didn't know that.
who won the Gold Glove?
Top 3. He's top 3. Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, Zach Wheeler. Chris Sale's going to
gonna
win the
win
Cy
it.
Young, but he'll win the Rookie of the Year.
I will say this. I do think there is and it obviously this is not how the ranking for it goes, but I do think going forward, especially, early on in it, but going forward, I think that'll be like the overall thought of it is the playoff system is there. So like if you're not in the playoffs every year, you're not a top program.
Right.
That's kind of what the mindset of it'll be. And I do think that whether you believe it or not, around the country, you perceive LSU to be a top 12 program.
Yes.
So by not making the playoffs, you feel like, well, shit, we not a top 12 program. So I do think that that's where the detriment of not making the playoffs kind of hits you.
For sure.
I do think that that's the sting of it right now.
For sure. Listen to me.
You're better than Penn State.
Well,
that's my point. So, but if they're making the playoffs more than you,
and you know what,
the
you
thought
lost
will
to
be
USC. They didn't.
be the other way.
They should have. They didn't. Right, and so that's the one that hurts. Next year you're going to have to go to the Clemson. That's a harder game than USC was. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you who's not going to Clemson. Me. I'm watching on TV.
We're taking the bus. Party box.
I'm not. Y'all can go. I'm watching that thing on TV.
I'm going to spend the night in Charlotte the night before, and I'm going to go down there. So I'm going to go.
Are you?
No. No.
I'm not going.
He ain't going to the Vanderbilt game.
I'm not going.
Why?
Watch it on TV.
The curse?
I'm not doing it. Maybe I can break the curse.
I would love to see. I want to be there when Dabo falls down that hill. It could be next year.
They're going to challenge us. We're going to have another challenging game next year.
Also, shout out to, first of all, Kirk. Sorry about your dog. But don't be lambasting the LSU fan base for throwing shit on the field, because I saw it work against Texas and Georgia. You had a chance to get a review. You've tried to force one. I get it. But somebody had an absolute fucking rocket.
I didn't see any
that
of it,
landed on the 20.
You know what, though?
I thought it was you.
I'm actually very disappointed. Can you imagine if there's something in the fucking seats?
Yes. Somebody Henry Rodengartner out there.
I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed in myself of like not
throwing something.
No, I paid attention. I paid attention, but like there were some moments, like gaps in the game where like I got caught.
That's called blacking out.
No, I got caught in conversations and I didn't lock it in, and I missed that.
How?
You missed all of that?
I missed the throwing the shit on the field.
Damn, you was working hard.
I was.
Any deals?
I was working hard. I was.
Damn, you were working hard.
I was. And listen, and half of it was because I had someone, hey, you need to come meet this person. I want to meet him. And it was like, you know how that goes. Everybody's had a couple drinks, so everybody's like
throwing shit on the field,
nonstop talking.
You had a couple drinks?
Couple or 5, 7, 10, maybe.
What?
I don't know.
What
of it? But yeah, I missed some of it. But yeah, anyway, you really can't. You can't throw shit on the field. How about the Colorado? Speaking of Colorado, Colorado's gonna be in the playoffs.
Well,
they don't have to play BYU, do they?
A lot of football left.
Or do they already play BYU?
I don't think they play them. I'm not
They
sure.
have to play a championship game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about regular season schedule. I don't think they play them in regular season.
But did you see what the referee said?
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
So everybody's throwing this stuff on the field, like half full beer bottles, all this stuff, and Dion's getting pissed off at the ref. He's like, they're throwing this stuff on the field, and the referee goes, well, your players keep blowing them kisses after they score touchdowns. What the fuck kind of response is that from a referee? So you're saying it's okay because my kids are blowing kisses after we score touchdowns? They're throwing shit at them?
They're throwing beer bottles? That equals. That's the same thing.
Yeah, that doesn't get out of here with that.
Also, did you see? I know we're trying to pump up BK, but did you see him bitching to the referee that they're blitzing 8 whenever they're up 40?
I did not see that.
Maybe I'll.
Are you sure? Are you sure that's what he was saying?
Oh yeah. I wasn't.
Why would he be saying that to the referee?
I think he was trying to get a call.
What call?
A hold. But it happened. I mean, I can save it for the mistake of the day, but there's plenty to pick from. Sometimes those linebackers don't blitz; they drop, especially in the red zone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm skeptical of this one.
Me too.
I'll pull it up.
But anyway, to put a bow on it, LSU's gonna be all right. Nobody panic. They played horrendous. It was embarrassing, and
you also got fined $250,000.
And you got fined $250,000. So all this Bama's burning bullshit needs to stop, because it ain't burning. Okay, like we're not in a position for us to say someone's burning. Okay, after we had in the relatively near past one losing season for the first time since 1999 and a 500 season. Yeah. Everybody needs to pump the brakes. All right, we ain't in a spot to say that. So that's all I got to say about that. On a brighter note, the New Orleans Saints actually played some football. They tried to give it away. Marquez, MVS.
There you go.
Yeah, MVS.
SUV.
Came out of nowhere. Just signed him. Hey, we need you, buddy. 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, 100 yards receiving, doing everything he needs to do. Derek Carr doing what he's good at, throwing deep balls, completing deep balls. Alvin Kamara was running hard. Defense was playing hard, made turnovers. Now, he did drop the pass. That would have been a touchdown. I'm sure people in the fantasy world probably didn't love that. But Saints win 20-17 against the 6-3 Falcons team that was playing really good, right? Saints season is pretty much done, but by beating the Falcons and the Bucs losing, like, you're not that far out. If you got hot, I don't think they're going to do that. I'm not here to, like, spin it. It's like, oh, they're still in it type thing. But it is nice to see that they rallied around the interim coach. The interim coach thing is a real thing.
Yeah, like they were in a spot where you don't want to see them tank, but winning doesn't. It's tough. It's a really tough spot because the chances of you going 8 wins in a row and getting to 10-7 are so small. And then if you get to 10-7, are you a good playoff team that could win? Like, where are you at that point? So there's just so much. It's a very gray area. You just want to see him play good football towards the back end of the year.
That's it. And listen, like, you want to get a quarterback. The whole point of, hey, let's not win. If we lose and you're top of the draft, is to draft a quarterback, right? And it's to the new coach coming in, getting the quarterback. But, outside of Shedeur Sanders and, what, is it Ewers be one of them? Who else?
Go ahead and grab Carson Beck.
No.
I mean, he's still going to be in the conversation.
Yeah, he'll be in the conversation, but my point is saying that is I think that they're not – the quarterback class isn't as strong as it has been over the last couple of years, so I think you may be able to get maybe a quality guy. Well, I don't know.
What happened to Spencer Rattler? I thought everybody loved him.
The new coach is going to pick the guy. Now, if it's Darren Rizzi, I don't know.
I honestly think you actually have to be up there or have the
draft
capital to get up there. Because it doesn't matter. Like, nobody knew who Zach Wilson was at this point of the year, but the closer you get to the end of the year, that rises when everyone needs a quarterback. So, like, it doesn't really matter what names we know right now. It's just it is what it is at that point.
Yeah.
Thank you for battling through.
I got nothing.
Darren Rizzi, though, at least he brings some energy to the Saints right now, and that's all you want. Whatever happens, but he almost died. It felt like on the field, he really did. I mean, he collapsed.
Is there anything more football god that said you activated an old stinger?
Everybody has like stood up too fast or like yelled too long, where you got stars in your eyes and shit, and you kind of get lightheaded. It feels like that's kind of what happened, right? Like, if you watched him at the end of the game, he was going nuts. He was going nuts the entire game.
I thought he tore his ACL.
Right? I thought he got. Then I saw him holding on. He was like, you could tell he was telling something to Peyton Turner. He's like,
a little bit softer.
And all of a sudden he was like, okay, loosened up, and he tapped him. Thanks, big fella. Thanks for holding me up. And then he was dancing in the locker room, so he was fine. It felt like I was like, damn, that was kind of a wild thing. Announcers just didn't say anything.
If you tore your ACL, when would you admit it?
Well, he would have to admit it now because he wouldn't be able to move.
I mean, he's a football guy.
He wouldn't be able to move.
You just throw a brace on it under the pants.
But he would be limping. Like you would know. You would know. And then you tear his ACL, it would come out. You can't hide that.
Because he was limping around the locker room too.
Was he?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he did get hurt. But it's good to see him.
I'd rather that. Well, also, Derek.
He played. You can't say anything about how he played.
That's not about how he played. It's the post-game interview where he's like, this wouldn't have happened without Dennis Allen. Like, shout out to my guy. It's like, look, everybody else is. Why would you bring up the first marriage at the wedding?
Yeah, I don't think he needed to do that.
He just has no feel. It's time for him to skid at.
He still owes some money.
That's Well,
Still owns
divorces
some money.
hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. But it's nice to see them play good football. It's NFL. You want to be competitive.
Vintage Tyron.
Big play at the end of the game. He almost had one early in the game. Similar situation where he read the crosser and he came up and jumped it, almost got it, didn't get it, and then he got it to end the game. And you could see the emotion on his face, which that was pretty awesome.
They care.
And that to me is the most important thing.
That's
what you want to see from LSU.
They were looking for a little shot in the ass, and they got it.
Yeah,
and there you go.
No doubt, right? Like you could see the way Alvin Kamara ran the football, right? The way that the defense was making plays when they had to. Chase Young made the big sack. You felt like, oh no, here it goes again.
Oh, it was ready to be 24-20.
We dropped the touchdown pass to seal the game. Our best player doesn't do that. Right? And people got mad at Troy Aikman for bringing it up, but it was a perfect analogy. He goes, that's not Troy Aikman, whoever was calling the game. He goes, that's Aaron Judge dropping the fly ball.
Greg Olsen.
Because
I was wondering where he was going.
Yeah,
but
that was a perfect.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Perfect analogy. He goes, that's Aaron Judge dropping the line drive in game in the 5th inning of the World Series. Doesn't happen. There's no reason why it happened. It's just a fluke thing that happened. Same thing with Alvin Kamara drops it, and you're like, damn. And then you do it, and you say, okay, now all of a sudden they're kind of rolling on offense. They're kind of, I think, 4 straight completions, and then Chase Young, big sack, fumble goes all the way out there, kind of puts them out of the game. And they seal the game. So you had some big plays where that hadn't been going your way, and it was good to see. Good to see. The Bucs lost, Falcons lose. Maybe you never know.
The Bucs win or lose.
Bucs lost by a walk-off field goal.
Play well.
They did play well. The Bucs are good.
Washington State's back on into this thing.
No, last year was a chance.
This is how you know we got grown men here. This is me to Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, there you go. Baker's changed himself.
Baker's playing some quality football.
Yeah, he's a dog right now. 2 years in a row.
Yeah,
he's playing some quality football.
2 years in a row.
A believer.
He's actually like leading the team. Like he's
always been that guy.
They rallied around him.
Also, real testament as to why how football's changed to where a quarterback can stiff arm a defensive MVP and then throw a pass because you're scared to hurt him. Or maybe it's just, a Bosa thing.
Oh, he got fined from the NFL.
I feel like Bosa could have easily just pulled him, but he just didn't. It was a weird thing. People make more of that play than what I actually looked at it as. I was like, it's cool, but I didn't think it was like as gladiator as people said it was.
No, if he wanted to hurt him, he could have.
It wasn't the stiff arm that was impressive to me because that kind of happens in the sense of the game. Like he maybe had the leverage on to where it was being able to get it out enough to where it went to where it was supposed to go.
Well, I think he was fine, but Bosa had 2 full hands on the arm.
Then why not just yank him?
Yeah, and didn't yank. He just kind of kept running with him.
Yeah, hey, even if okay, now he's about to throw. Let me just yank him so the ball goes to the middle of the field.
He didn't do any of that. I was just that was weird.
It was weird.
But Bosa plays favorites.
Oh, is that it?
Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Baker's playing some good ball right now. I'll give him that.
No doubt. Hey, look, it could be worse. The Saints. You could be the Cowboys when you're supposed to be good and you stink. You could be the Jets where they have a lot of talent and they're a debacle. You could be the Giants where you haven't had an opportunity to win ever. Since Eli left, you stunk. And you gave all the money to your quarterback and you stink. You traded your best player and he's great, had a career year
backwards
in your division. and now you got to figure it all out. Now you have an opportunity to go and draft potentially 1 overall, but in one of the worst, not a great quarterback draft. So
go get Kerry Collins.
They'll be all right. They'll get. If they get the top of the league, they'll get a top quarterback. Quarterback who's good. Like Shedeur Sanders will probably be good in the NFL.
That is I can't wait to see how that plays out.
You don't think he'd be good? He's gonna be good?
Oh no, I'm just thinking the debacle. The Giants have been through this before with a Eli.
No, Eli wants to go there.
I know, but I'm saying the shoe could be on the other foot at this point, where you would probably.
And then they brought up this morning that Deion Sanders.
I was literally about to say, y'all keep saying that. Like
Deion's going to be head coach of Dak, even though Deion has come out and said he doesn't want to coach the NFL.
Yeah, but like Dak's hurt. He ain't going to play the rest of the year.
You heard Jerry.
Like
We weren't good with Dak. It's the son's fault.
I promise you, if he's playing, there's a good chance you're not going to be picking one. With him out,
Yeah, right.
much higher chance you might be picking
So
one.
what do? You draft him and you trade Dak?
It's possible. Somebody's going to need it.
Somebody wants a quarterback.
Saints?
They're not going to.
No,
and they're
fuck
not.
that.
They're not going to want to take the entire contract. But maybe you can get them to eat some of it.
Don't circumcise the mosquito. That's
I don't
what
know
Jerry
what that means.
says.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Don't make a small deal a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know. He's look. I think Deion. Y'all think Deion's gonna be at Colorado next year?
There's a chance. He's gonna be highly sought after. For everyone who didn't believe before,
They believe now.
it's kind of hard to not.
I've been on the Deion train from what he's done in 2 years there. Even what he did last year. I know it looked bad at the end of the year, but they had one win the year before.
I would like to see it without Shedeur, but
Okay, but that's what it is.
Why? I mean, you got the
It's-
good player.
you got him.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like now.
well, he birthed him.
Well, for sure. Now let's go see if you can recruit the good quarterback to come and do it again. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
Right? Get someone that like you was not a guarantee to come there. I don't know if they have one yet or not, but they're gonna have to have one.
if you're Florida State, do you?
That's the other question. Like
He's gonna be sought after.
Yeah.
I think that's fair
Now,
to say.
I love Signetti, dude.
He's not leaving. He's too
I
stubborn.
know, but I would love. Like, I mean, we're not
Brian Kelly or
we're not in the
Signetti?
we're not in the market for
Brian
a coach.
Kelly or Signetti.
Honestly, Signetti, I think. I'm joking.
Blow it up.
I'm joking. No, I
Six
love,
inside.
no, but I do like his. I do.
I
like,
win.
Spent a whole hour talking
Could you
about,
imagine-
hey, it's all fine.
just-
Could you
joking.
imagine him
I'm
in
just
purple
joking.
and gold?
Oh
I mean,
my God.
yeah,
Google me.
but like I like the brashness. You know what I mean? I like the matter of fact, whatever about it. And he really does win. But it's a great story. I was joking about the Brian Kelly. Like, I mean, I'll take BK over Signetti. But what Signetti's doing, the personality he's got, in the resume he's
Signetti
got,
would be a legend in Baton Rouge.
that's my point. I think it fit. You talk about fit?
Fit.
That one fits. But he's going to be sought after, I would imagine. Deion's going to be sought after. There's going to be a couple other guys that are going to have some jobs. What jobs are going to be open?
Feels like Joe Sloan's safe.
Everybody, it's the second year everybody's
Yeah.
on this.
Well, you're supposed to go to ECU two weeks ago.
Well, 2 years ago, everybody
weeks
thought
ago.
everybody was worried about losing our
Joe Brady.
defensive coordinator.
Oh, Matt
to
House.
be, Matt House to be a head coach. Everybody's like, we can't lose him, and then we fired him next year. So let's all pump the brakes on like half a year. Everybody wanted Clint Kubiak to be the head coach. He's going to be a head coach middle of the season this year, and everybody's like, okay, well
Who's
maybe
this guy?
based off who the new coach is, we may not even have Clint Kubiak anymore because you know what I mean. Like, so everybody needs it's just
Play the full slate.
yeah,
See how it goes.
Let it play out. Let it play out.
Goddamn millennials and their instant gratification.
Mike Del Parlay just missed. All right. Lloyd, good call. The Mississippi State
Suck
did
it,
cover.
Bryce.
Mississippi State did cover. Michigan covered, which I took on my own. Didn't put it in the parlay. The over-under of the Colorado, the over hit. I'm pretty sure it was that last play that hit the over. I think it was 62.5. And I want to say they had 61 points before that fumble recovery for a touchdown. So lucky cover, but it does. And then the Iowa State one, which out of the three I thought was the most slam dunk one of them all. So that's, I'm not dunking on you at all because
I am.
we
I
all.
think it's the first time he's lost.
It is. I think it's the first. No. We all three
Last
lost.
week too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
we
that's
all-
the
we
first
all.
time you've been on this.
Oh, this is the first time he's the only one that lost.
Yeah, you got the
Yeah.
dunce
Yeah, it
cap.
was-
It's a bad feeling.
Yeah, it sucks. And it was just like, damn. Because I really did. I was like, that was the one I was most confident.
We all
I
wanted
wasn't even
that.
paying attention to that one. I was like, this is definitely going to, I'm like, look at the scores. Like, shit.
Hey, I threw in another side 7 or 8 leg parlay just on some bullshit.
That's the only one you lost.
Hell no.
Oh.
I only hit one of them. Every leg missed. I'm like, damn, this was a terrible weekend.
Bad week for me.
Hey, I started off.
Hey, at least for Manfred admitting it.
Hell
No
no.
doubt.
All of them hit.
Hey.
I'm like, damn.
I started off ice cold.
Glad I put
on
$1 on
Friday.
it.
I get
Literally.
to the tailgate. I'm watching the games. Ole Miss winning. I had Georgia, obviously. Miami lost. I had Miami. And I wanted to take Georgia Tech, but I was like, I'm not going to fall into this trap. I've done this. Miami's going to cover. Maybe sloppy, but they're going to score points.
I took Miami second half.
They didn't work out.
No, $5. That's okay.
Navy came back. Navy covered, right? They're back in the winning column. But I think there was like the first 3 or 4 games that I had bet on the day lost. I'm like, and it wasn't a great day, but it wasn't. It could have been catastrophic.
Colossal.
Wasn't catastrophic. It was not great, but it wasn't catastrophic. Still have an opportunity to make it back.
My 2 biggest bets of the year have been LSU twice, and both times. USC.
Well, you can't do that to yourself. You can't be LSU being the biggest bets of the year because
yeah, but
you get enough euphoria if they win. You don't need the money part of it.
But it's the
then when they lose,
it's the team
it hurts enough. I know, but it hurts enough when you lose. It hurts even more when you get that money.
I don't even care.
Okay.
First one was your uncle's fault, but that's okay. I'll catch that check later.
Fair enough.
The pearly gates.
All right, let's get to the.
This one was my fault.
I know. Let's get to the mistake of the day. Mistake of the day brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place. What
I'll
we
blame it
got?
on Ben.
What we got?
Oh, we got a plenty of mistakes of the day. Let's see.
Also,
I do want to show you all this because I'm not a liar.
Before we get to the mistake of the day, what do we got on this Tyson Paul fight?
He's going. This is. I'm glad you brought this up.
Do you think Tyson's gonna knock him out?
I think he's gonna kill him.
At 58?
He's
30 years
He's got
younger.
that look in his eye.
He's
dude.
31 years younger.
He looks like
dude.
Iron Mike. Like I want to eat your babies.
I
Mike
feel like
Tyson.
he's only got like 45 seconds in him though, and there's like
That's fine.
Well, that's the thing. They're supposed to go 8 rounds. He's gonna have to get them done in 2 rounds max.
I mean, that was him in his prime,
Right, but he's not in his prime.
That's my point. That's what I say. I feel like he's only got like 45 seconds in him, and it's not good.
He's got that.
You think he's gonna do it?
He's got that scare back in him where it's like he's not.
Jake Paul is the. Is it Jake Paul? That the
It's one of them.
I forget which one.
No, it's Jake.
It's Jake.
It's Jake.
Jake Paul's like a minus 250, I think, odds.
Well, and that's the other part of this thing is it all feels like it's rigged, but I don't think Mike Tyson anybody else's rules, but Iron Mike Tyson's rules. I don't think he's going in there to get embarrassed. He bit a man's ear off. Like,
look, they're showing old Mike Tyson fights right now on TV.
Terrifying.
1986.
And they all last
Trevor
about
Barbick, Mike Tyson.
18 seconds. You missed it if you didn't click on it.
So you think?
I'm falling for the trap if it's a trap.
Are you gonna watch it?
No. I mean, yeah, I'll mesh streams.
Where's it at?
YouTube, I believe.
I thought it was on Netflix.
Netflix.
So you have to buy it on Netflix, or is
I
it
think
like
there might be their first like pay-per-view thing.
and they're gonna have Christmas. Is the Christmas games? No, Christmas games can't be pay-per-view. It's gotta be if you had Netflix, you can watch it. Like Amazon Prime. Like if you had Amazon Prime, you can watch Thursday Night Football, right? The Christmas games for football. If you have Netflix, you can watch it.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about any of this.
There's no way. Yeah, mesh streams. You and
Schefter streams.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see. I'm gonna watch it though. I'm gonna watch it.
I hope to God.
I want to hit that one
because I just saw the interview and it feels like
I want the one right hook to land.
Left hook.
Is the left hook just? Is
Yeah.
it sure?
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Oh. Is it the uppercut? The right uppercut?
Left hook to the body. He kidney shots you every time. And then he has the left uppercut. That'll get you too. You never played Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
No, I did not. All right, mistake of the day brought to you by Dozy Place.
You can get things
This is just what I wanted to say. They're fucking blitzing and we're down 40.
NIL, transfer portal.
I think that's.
You can get things fixed in a hurry when it comes to improving your roster.
I mean, is this taken out of context?
NIL.
Yeah, sure. This is the mistake of the day. I just wanted to show it to you.
Okay.
Mistake of the day is there was a Georgia player after a loss that had, this has been like a story. Georgia DB Jake Pope was
Definitely a walk-on.
Yeah,
no doubt.
And Kirby called him an idiot.
Yep.
Because he was caught celebrating.
Which he was. That was idiotic.
It's not loading. But he was caught celebrating on the field after Ole Miss stormed the field against Georgia, and he is celebrating with what he called family friends because he's from Mississippi. And then Kirby had to answer questions at the podium about why he was doing it. And he was like, he's just an idiot. I'm about to pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah, so you didn't see this?
No.
Oh, dude. This is not good.
Terrible visual.
I mean, it's a...
You would think that...
Optics are not good. You see it? Go back. So this guy, obviously a walk-on from Ole Miss. His friends, high school teammates, I think from Buford or whatever they went to, is what Kirby Smart was saying. We're in school there. They see him, hadn't seen him in a long time, celebrate. Terrible optics. Never do that. No feel. Savvy sold separately. No doubt about it. And then Kirby talked about it. He's like, he's embarrassed about it. Kirby handled it the way that you probably should. He's an idiot. Shouldn't have done it. I've talked to him about it. He's embarrassed. We're going to get through it. I got more problems to deal with than just talking about this. Because I don't want to spend any time and energy talking about this. And we got to take care of.
I don't think old boy plays a whole lot for this to be a story.
Yeah, this guy,
he might not wear the uniform anymore.
No.
Yeah, this guy may not even. This guy doesn't even get on scout team. To be honest,
or he might get on scout team.
Or he might just run the whole practice.
Yeah.
He might run some crossers.
Yeah. Other mistake of the day that just missed: Florida football. 0-11. NFL.
Oh shit! I was gonna give that as my curtain call.
Oh really?
I mean, Louisiana football didn't have a great weekend either.
No.
And hasn't been great recently, so
no.
Florida could kind of take that bump.
Okay, I won't say it then. I won't say it then.
No, I got another one. Go ahead.
Okay, because you got the Dolphins have their last hope for them not to go defeated. Every football team in the state of Florida have lost, from NFL to Division I, Division II, Division III, FCS, whatever it is, they've all lost, and or NFL, FBS, FCS. Except for the Dolphins so far.
And then, by saying if the Dolphins win tonight, they could change that.
All right. Curtain call is brought to you by our friends at Perkins and McKenzie.
Curtain call to just Detroit football. Obviously, electric comeback.
5 interceptions, dude.
Crazy.
Still one.
And here are the Detroit fan base on a flight, and they're trying to give you the announcements. But they're like, no. We have a field goal to watch. Hometown Cat trying to make a game winner.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on board tonight. So, congratulations. My apologies. I was giving this away.
They stop it. Never mind. We're going to let it play.
Yes! No!
They thought, yes, no, yes. Hey, they are, and I love that because that's everyone watching. Like, oh my god, he made it. Like that thing snuck in there.
And they when she was and she was trying to do like the buckle your seatbelt. Like, no.
We got it.
We're good.
Yeah, we got it.
We're buckled.
Have some decorum.
This kid's about to kick a field goal.
Pull it up here, Lloyd. So
I got you.
My curtain call will go to whenever there's a gold medal performance.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
There needs to be a gold medal given. So they just happen to not be, but Cam Bynum, reenactment of the break dancing from this year's Summer Olympics, gold medal or not a medal performance, but
how did he do? Like to a T.
Yes, it's great. He spent a lot of time doing this.
I'm gonna get my touchdown. Y'all gonna know about it. I'm waiting for it to load. We had slow internet today, so
see, like if we don't get, if the NFL doesn't allow you to no longer do celebrations, you don't get this kind of greatness. So I love that this is the thing.
You gotta see from the game.
He crushed it. I mean, he nailed it.
It's great.
Awesome.
You have to think that he has
the game winner ended with a gold medal performance.
You have to think you have like a significant other in his life. He's like, "What are you doing? Like, if I get in that end zone, you will find out."
That's awesome. Yeah, it was great. He killed it. My curtain call is to Darren Rizzi. Brought the energy that the Saints needed. We talked about it. Won the game. Almost died. Felt like. Video that I put in there. I don't know if you have to refresh it. Shows obviously all the emotion and kind of how excited he was to the point where he didn't have any feeling in his legs for a minute. Now they're talking about a little injury. I don't know what the injury is, but maybe we'll find out in the injury report.
Probable.
No legs.
He does talk about it. And he said, "Thanks, big fella. Thanks for holding me up."
But shout out to Rizzy. He's gonna fuck around and get himself this goddamn job.
You don't sound too happy about
Oh, so I guess when he went up to Peyton Turner, I'm reading this right now.
Yeah, he was mad at him.
He was ripping him. He said, "I ripped Turner's ass for celebrating with 30 seconds left in the game."
And then
then
I needed him.
Yeah.
And then he saved mine.
Wow, he said Turner tried to get him back at the end of the game and accidentally hit him right where he has a history of stingers and made his entire arm go numb. That's why Rizzy looked hurt post-game. I was like, well, his legs look like they went numb.
He definitely tore his ACL.
Wow.
Just gonna wait a second. Go get that Sean Payton stash. I know you know where it's at.
Man.
A couple Percocets.
It's all right. Good win. Shout out to the Saints and Rizzy. All right, that's all we got for you today. We appreciate you. We love you. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you can't watch us, but listening to us anywhere you get your pods. We'll be back live in studio on Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. It's Ask Mikey and Mitch Wednesday.
We will talk about baseball at some point.
We will talk about baseball this Wednesday. I promise.
Maybe get Jay on.
Yeah, maybe we need to get Jay on. Talk about the scrimmages. Talk about what's going on.
Recruiting.
Little recruiting. Little mid fall update.
Mid fall summer classic.
Yeah, coming up.
I do have to ask. I mean, diabolical. Planning that Sunday game with Alabama on Saturday. He was there. He was on the field.
Maybe he knew LSU was going to get their ass kicked.
He would probably have an idea.
Maybe he knew that. He was like, guys aren't going to go out and celebrate. We're good.
Let's
go split a
a
series in Lafayette. Give you all some to watch.
Yeah, and then you get your best player. And one of your best players hits 2 home runs. Moonshot. Best place, one of the best hitter backdrops of all college baseball. UL.
That's bases to run late night.
You have great. It's all green behind you, so it's just like it's great visual. I've always loved hitting there. Obviously, Jared Jones does too. 2 homers. Yeah, we will talk baseball. I promise. Wednesday we'll get into
green
it.
Light. You think anybody has it?
Yeah,
I think he does.
He's got it. It'll be Ask Mikey and Mitch, so ask some questions. Hopefully we get Jay on the show on Wednesday.
And my voice. It'll be
back. And Jay's voice will be back. He'll find it.
Curtain call.
We appreciate y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Watch Monday Night Football. Dolphins are winning 7-0, trying to in the losing streak for the Florida teams. See what happens. See you on Wednesday. Peace.
I hate the Rams uniform.